Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Yuni Rastiani. My student's number is 192122009 from class 8. In this occasion, I would like to tell the material about language and culture. The table of contents are: the first is introduction, the second one is language in cultural perspective, the third is culture, and the last is relationship between language and culture. Alright, the first is about introduction. Language is a manifestation of culture. In some situations, culture manifests itself in a language. Language and culture have a long and symbiotic relationship. Culture and cultural relationships are maintained and communicated through language. The purpose of communication is to present and receive information. As a result, we must avoid miscommunication between speakers and listeners. The meaning is intertwined with the cultural context, and it is even bound by the cultural context. We are reliant not just on the meaning of the language we use, but also on the cultural environment in which it is spoken. The next topic is about language in cultural perspective. According to Chomsky 2002, page 1 stated that language is a natural object, a component of the human mind, physically represented in the brain and part of the biological endowment of the species. Humans have a unique ability to communicate. The ability to speak a language is culturally passed down from generation to generation. Of course, this differs from animals' ability to communicate through their means. This is due to the fact that animals' modes of communication, for example, their language, are passed down the generation. Human beings can convey the numerous things in their environment by using a language. Language is used to meet not just their biological requirements, but also other ones such as protection, social belonging, esteem, self-actualization, and self-transcendence. Animals, as previously said, can communicate using noises or sounds made by the mouth or other means, but they can only satisfy their basic demands. A given animal can use several methods to warn other members of the same species of danger, tell them of food availability, or threaten others to protect their area. The next is about the most important characteristics for distinguishing human language from the means or modes of animal communication. The productivity and creativity of language are the most important characteristics that distinguish human language from the tools or forms of animal communication. The first is about productivity. It refers to the limitless ability to use language to say new things. The second one is creativity. It refers to the aspect of language that enables a user to use the language in new ways or enables him to create new linguistic forms. The next is about culture. According to Clarkson 1950, suggesting that culture is constructed in the patterned ways to think, feel, and react. It is mainly acquired and transmitted through symbols. It constitutes the distinctive achievements of groups of people, and it includes their embodiments in artifacts. And also, its essential core consists of traditional ideas and their cultural values. There are three parts of human cultures. The first is cultural perspectives. It refers to the beliefs, ideas, meanings, values, and attitudes control and influence the society's cultural practices and products. They also refer to what members of a specific culture think, feel, and value. The second one is cultural practices. It is refers to patterns of social interactions, behaviors. The use of cultural products will be a part of cultural practices. The cultural practices will convey people's understanding of what is done, when it is done, and where it is done, as well as how they interact within a community. The third one is cultural products. It is refers to the human's creation of a certain culture. There are two types of cultural products. The first is tangible cultural products. It is covering literature, painting, cathedral, and a pair of chopsticks. The second one is intangible cultural products. It is include dance, oral tale, sacred ceremony, educational system, and law. Furthermore, culture may be classified into two types. The first is formal culture. It covers humans' manifestation and contribution, namely arts, music, literary work, architecture, technology, and politics. The second one is deep culture. It refers to humans' behavior patterns or living styles. It covers eating time and food, humans' attitudes and behavior towards friends, colleagues, and family members, ways to communicate. For example, to accept or to ignore the other's idea. According to Duranty, 1997, page 24, states that culture is said to be something learned in a human community, then transmitted and inherited by one to the next generation via human activities, frequently in the direct interaction, and all of those are conducted using language as a means of communication. This point of view on culture is intended to explain why any newborn child, regardless of his genetic origin, will grow up influenced by the cultural patterns of those around him. The last topic is about relationship between language and culture. Language barriers and cultural differences are two sides of the same coin. This indicates that language and culture are inextricably linked to one another. Language is utilized by its users to convey and at the same time to adapt all parts of culture yet. A language is a system of symbols that is one of the elements of culture. These are the relationships of language and culture. The first is social structure, or aspect of culture. The second one is linguistic structure, or aspect of language. Based on the age grading phenomenon, this can be further elaborated. Young children, for example, communicate in different ways than older children, and children in general speak in different ways than adults. Culture has been present in the forms of viewpoints, practices, and products. For example, ideas, actions, and artifacts. Based on the many definitions of culture described above, it encompasses human knowledge, beliefs, art, morality, laws, customs, habits, language, technology, and other competence performance gained or learned as members of a given community. So, we can see here that language and culture are bound to each other and cannot be separated. The summary of the relationship between language and culture are: the first is language is an aspect of culture. The second one is language reflects culture as both a component of culture and a primary network through which the other components are conveyed. Language is a symbolic reflection of a people's historical and cultural heritage. as well as their approach to life and methods or living and thinking. And the last, cultural traits differ not just synchronously from speech community to speech community. I think that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.